A little bit of a slow week last week for videos just because I was away. I was in Toronto and New York to do some events there. I had a great time, hang out with JC from Allstar Charts, a lot of his crew. Some really cool things took place, some big things coming, some stuff to test about. But for now, let's just pop into the charts and see what happened last week, which was pretty tame most week and then had a pretty wild end. So let's pop in here and let's go over here. And as always, we can start with Bitcoin because I think Bitcoin does a good job of kind of telling what was going on. So most of the week, we went higher and higher and higher. I'm recording this on Sunday. So this is Friday's candle where it looked like we might be challenging these all-time highs again. And then we sold off. So just like I've been talking about here for months now in Bitcoin, I sold my Bitcoin, somewhere in this area. And that reminding people that Bitcoin chops 90% of the time, and then every now and then has a big explosive move. So make sure you're taking advantage of this chop either by shorter term trading, buying support, selling resistance, that kind of thing, or staying away, which is kind of what I'm doing in the crypto space until something shows me that it's going to move. It's got a chance to move. Something's cool is going to happen in some way or another. And you can see now we're coming down. So I'm just drawing this little line, which is these lows right here and this low right here. See if that's something that acts as support. That's around the $100,000 ish mark, 99 to 98. If we lose that, then we have to kind of start looking at the other support way down here, down at 90,000. So if we lose this, we got to see what happens down here. But again, I'm not really participating in Bitcoin right now. I'm just kind of waiting for this area to resolve one way or another. Pretty much the same if you go anywhere in the crypto space. Solana was the same. We were coming up against this prior resistance, and then we rejected from there. Ethereum, same thing, right? We were coming up against, in this case, a trend line resistance, and then we sold off here as well. So across the board in the crypto space, and you'll see even in the equity space, we have kind of the same story of getting really, really close and then failing entirely. So that's what we have to kind of keep an eye on going into next week. Let's just look here at the dollar. Let's do the DXY and just show this is what I'm kind of seeing in the crypto space or in the dollar, where we had the dollar break this prior resistance for a long time. Now it's playing around in this zone, but if you look at what happened last week, just as equities looked like they were going to break highs and then they broke down, same with Bitcoin, this looked like it was going to break back into this range and now it's bouncing. So I don't know if this top is still forming and we are going to come back down this range. But if we break out here and start to move higher on the dollar and challenge these highs, if the dollar moves higher, that is generally speaking going to be bearish for Bitcoin, bearish for equities, just because it's better for the people who are selling things, and it's better for risk assets if the dollar is weaker versus the other currencies. And in this case, it doesn't look like that. It looks like it's higher. Gold, nice little breakout. Gold continues to be amazing. I continue to be long gold. Uh, I've been talking about this all ever since the breakout that happened way back here. I was talking about this for it seemed like years on this 2000 breakout. Now we're up almost 3000. That's 50% on gold, which is pretty wild. A nice little breakout on Friday, and even XAG or silver here. Silver's starting to look interesting. So this area on silver has been a very big deal. You can see these tops that we broke and then we failed. I took a little short here in silver, but now we're creeping our way back up there. So that's around 32-ish. So if we can get back to that area on silver and break out, that might be interesting. And then also cocoa, which is just something that I started to look at a little bit while I was there's the cash contract, while I was in New York there. A lot of people were talking about trading it, some future stuff that I'm very interested in getting involved in and starting to test. There might be, as part of StatsEdge Pro, some access to some futures uh, trend following type systems soon. So we have this wedge, this mean reverting kind of setup where things are pulling back. They're getting really tight. So a breakout here in cocoa could be very interesting because this thing was absolutely on fire from 6 or 3000 up to 12, and then now it's just been consolidating. So I'm watching this for maybe a trend following buy if we break that area on cocoa. So quick look into equities. If we start with the SPY here, the S&P 500. This is what I was talking about. You can see this is the same pattern that happened here, and I might actually have a better one here on these charts. Yeah, same pattern happened here on the S&P 500. That happened on Bitcoin. That happened on the dollar. All of these spaces are looking the same and kind of doing the same thing, where got very close to all-time highs. Even in the beginning of the day, it looked great. Then a lot of news came out, crashed the markets. Just the way it happens, right? So this was a pretty bad day, but if you look at the weekly candle, they're still up on the week, right? So zoom out, chill out a little bit, and then look. Yeah, we're still up on the week. We're still challenging these prior highs. It's just one of those things where when you have these news events, especially with this administration, that's just kind of the way it happens, right? If you go back in time, a lot of people forget this, but this is, let's zoom in here. This is 2016 to 2019 on a weekly chart, right in this area. So it's right 2016 over here, all the way up to 2019. There was a lot of this. Right? The market really didn't do anything. It was very, very volatile, very, very choppy. So if that's going to happen again, that's fine. And that's what we do over at StatsEdge Trading and StatsEdge Pro. If you want to check that out, if you want 30 algorithmic stocks just given to your inbox with entry rules, exit rules, all that kind of stuff every week. Check that out because we have different strategies. So we have trend following strategies that take weeks or months, but do very well when they're right. Then we have pullback and we have mean reversion strategies. And these are usually in and out within a week. And the idea is you're playing increased volatility. You're looking for markets to sell quickly. You're looking to get involved at what we hope is a good price. Then you're looking to get out in a couple days to a week. And just doing that over and over and over again ends up working out pretty well, like 60% win rate or so. So you just repeat the same process, and generally speaking, it will go well for you. But that does well in increased volatility. The trend following does well in slow uptrending markets. I think we're in a period for this kind of increase sideways chop. That's why it doesn't really surprise me that we got to these all-time highs and then failed. We could get back to these lows and fail again. Who knows? But I think, again, wherever we're moving, I think we're not going to do that in a easy way. Now, this is the RSP, so the equal weight. So it's no longer carried to big cap tech. This is kind of what the average large cap stock is doing. And, it didn't break yesterday's low and still stuck in this range. So the big cap names got hit a little bit harder, but these names are just kind of consolidating sideways. The average stock, I guess the best way to put it, consolidating sideways. But if you go down the cap scale, right, a lot of MDY still weak. IWM, which is our small caps, still stuck in a range and weak. So some definite bearish action there. IWC, which is the micro caps, again still stuck in this large range and weak. So we are just choppy. We're just choppy all over. ARC. Right? ARC is actually one of the strongest names out there, which is why I wanted to highlight it, but did the same thing. If we just take this trend line that we broke out of and then just make it a straight trend line, you can see the same thing occurred. We got to prior highs, everyone got excited, and then we sold off. So this is just, again, indicative to me of chop. I don't think it's a super bearish market and we're going to go down to, it's be a mega crash or anything like that. I just think we are in for this high volatility, crazy choppy action, and we need to make sure that we have trading plans and we have setups that prepares for that, and we do. So that's great. Last but not least, just kind of a discretionary kind of chat. I still like China. Yes, it was down bad on this day, and I hear there's some China tariffs or something, stuff that I don't care about. But the idea is that the question is never the news event, like will there be tariffs? It's just, are they already priced in? If they're already priced in, then this will move based off its own metrics. Generally speaking, it's already priced in. That's why I look at algorithms. That's why I look at technicals. That's why I don't study too much on fundamentals. But we're trying to get above this anchored view app from the top of the craziness after all the stimulus. We're trying to get above there. We failed on Friday. If we can get back above and hold, I'm going to start getting a little bit more involved. I do have some Chinese names already, but you can look at things like TME, sorry, Tencent Music, right? This nice looking kind of cup and handle style play. If this can break out, uh, Baba, same kind of deal. We already broke the AV from that high and we're pulling back into it. So there's a lot of nice looking names in China. And then it's one of those things, if tariffs and all that stuff is priced in. If anything comes out and says less tariffs or no tariffs or delayed tariffs or whatever, I think you have a big chance of these names rocketing. So that's what I'm looking at going in for next week. A little bit of a longer video, but that's fine. I had a lot to talk about. Hadn't talked to you guys in a week. So I appreciate everyone coming by. Right after this video, I'm going to be doing all the StatsEdge Pro stuff because I have to get that out to you guys as well. Some really interesting names there on the list. So if you're someone who's, you're struggling to know where to look or what to look at, check out StatsEdge Trading Pro or go to statsedgetrading.com right off the bat. I have every single back test for every single month going back 30 years to say this is what would happen if we traded these systems in the year 2000. You can see all of that in 2008. You can see all of that, all of it completely transparent and out there. So hopefully that will help you decide whether or not these are something that you want to follow. And if it is, again, sign up for StatsEdge Pro, and I will talk to you guys soon.